welcome home, Raiders. Tonight, we are going to talk about patch 8.2, and we're going to talk about, well, probably some Overwatch and some other things. We're going to talk about how Classic is so much better than current WoW. All that and more as Convert Trade presents the Battlenet News. Everybody. From the Convert to Raid command post in Sacramento, California. Today is, June 4th, 2019, and it is now 7:09 in the PM Pacific time. Thanks so much for joining us from around the world of Warcraft and beyond. My name is Pat Krane. I'm your host, and as always, we have the players. Let's go to the guy from Tactical Crouch. And the guy whose goat I was trying to get by ending on that classic is better than current WoW. It's John Horstmann.
No, man, Pat. You really just found a way to cheese my curds today.
Wow. Wow.
My curds have been cheesed.
Oh, boy.
Jimmy's wrestled.
You might be from Wisconsin, then.
Oh, my. We need to change. By the way, it can't be the Convert to Raid command post. I don't like that.
You don't like the command post?
No. Convert to Raid, like Central.
No.
The Saxon Throwdown?
Already done.
Convert to Raid Central.
We might change it back. We might change it back.
Sacramento.
I gotta get to my next place, and then we'll come up with the actual name. This is just a post for a year, and then I'm gonna move out of the rental and move into a real home, like a real boy. All right, and also joining us from Lagging Balls, it's Thorn. Hello, Thorn.
Well, hello there.
Hello.
You guys have appeared on my computer. What's going on?
You have appeared on my computer. Isn't that amazing how that works sometimes?
Yes. Hello, my name is Thorn, and I am a Symmetra addict.
Are you really?
Ask me anything.
Really? Really?
A little bit.
Why are you an awful character to play? No, I'm just... I get annoyed by Symmetra. Not going to lie.
She is pretty annoying.
Yeah. Today I got really annoyed because I was playing random heroes, and there were two of them. And,
oh, God.
And my team of random people couldn't kill two of them. They couldn't kill one of them, let alone two of them. And then you go around the back corner of one of the places, and there's 5 turrets there just beaming you. It's like, I can't do it. And then I had to switch characters, so then my ult was reset, and it was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah. That's where you hope just somebody just gets rolled McCree so that then you're good again.
Right. And knows how to play it. I mean,
flashbang headshot. I don't know. That's all I know. I mean, is there anywhere else to click when you're McCree?
No. That's
fair point.
That's all you got. That's all you got
to do, guys. There's your Overwatch masterclass for the week.
There you go.
Flashbang click heads as McCree.
Tips.
You'll do better.
Awesome.
This I promise you.
So tonight, just to tell people, we're not going to talk about Overwatch all night. No, we've got a lot of World of Warcraft to talk about. We've got a lot of 8.2. We've got an article with Ian Hazzikostas in it. We've got Classic to talk about because there's been some updates on the beta as well. And then we've also got some Overwatch to talk about as well, and some Hearthstone. Look at that. We're hitting a bunch of different games. Plus, all the eSports stuff, because Thyst is over in Australia right now getting ready for the MDI.
She's literally upside down.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. I don't know, man.
It's cool. Her hair looks good, though, when it's hanging upward. So
yeah,
that works. You know?
Right.
You got to make sacrifices when Blizzard comes calling.
And that's one of them. So there. But she's getting all set and ready to go. She just landed in Sydney I guess, this morning, Sydney time. And no, it was yesterday she landed. And then she told me that she stayed up as long as possible so that she could be, she wouldn't have the jet lag, which is the smart way to do it.
Absolutely.
And then woke up at like 6 o'clock this morning in Australia. So that local
Which
time.
is not bad.
No,
honestly.
that's not.
Yeah, that's about as close as you
good.
kind of hope to be,
Yeah.
Right, especially on a long
outside
trip
of like
that.
I knew friends in Hearthstone and even in Overwatch back in like the Apex days who would literally flip their schedule about 8 or 9 days in advance. So they're waking up at like 2 a.m. or wherever they needed to be and like are kind of used to it and into it.
Sure.
And then just like keep that schedule no matter what.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, and it's really tough. I went over there over 10 years ago, and I remember going over there. It wasn't so bad because we landed at like 8 a.m. and I just stayed up forever until like 9, 10 o'clock, and then I was fine. Ooh. Flying back was horrible, though. Flying back, I was so wrecked. I couldn't. I think it took me like 2 weeks to get back to normal. It was crazy.
Gotta get back in time.
That's right. Gotta wait. Damn it! Oh, I wasn't ready. Gotta get back in time. There we go.
Yeah.
So she's getting all set and ready. But what have you guys been up to? I know that. I mean, we just talked last week, but I mean, I'm sure that some things have transpired. John, you were at Dreamhack, right?
I was, yeah. So I was at Dreamhack this past week, which is an amazing experience. It was the first Dreamhack I was ever at because they did Dreamhack Denver last year or 2 years ago, but it was TwitchCon was the same weekend.
Okay.
So I flew from Denver to go to, I think it was San Jose at the time, and I missed Dreamhack Denver. So we got to go there. They outfitted all the streamer booths with a Go XLR and one of our like really sweet microphones that we didn't know if they would work well in the convention environment. Pat, it was really good. Audio nerd talk for a second.
Okay. All right.
It was like, it sounded like they were, just right up on it. And it sounded like they were still in a convention center.
Sure.
Without hearing the band. Like there was literally a metal band playing at 10 p.m. on Friday night. And they could like still stream and stuff. So it was actually really cool that they were able to do that.
Well, we should discuss all the specifics after the show or something like that. Well, I'll talk to you about the mic specifically and blah blah blah. Okay, whatever. Yeah. I'm interested. What can I say?
So it's different mic, by the way. So that wasn't the mic.
Sure. Right.
But yeah, so
the other mic.
Did that, but it was Mike Wazowski.
Right.
So it was an awesome experience though. If you've never been to a Dreamhack, it's really cool because it's still very much like grassroots gaming. They have a whole BYOC part where that people just bring their own rigs.
Yep.
Literally,
nice.
like at the end of the night at like a music festival, you go back to your tents.
Yeah.
With this, it's like at the end of the night, you go back to your computers. And it was so cool. And that
kind of reminds me of PAX because I've been to PAX a few times and that was all kind of similar, right? I mean, because they had that, bring your own PC and you could set it up and you had these guys with fantastic rigs just showing them off and playing these games that the fidelity was incredible and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's wild to see that in person.
Yeah, it was really great. I was introduced to an arcade game called Killer Queen. Have you ever played it before? It's in a lot of like those kind of retro video game stores.
Okay.
Or bars or whatever that are the big things now.
Yeah.
And it's literally like 5-on-5. And you've got this queen that you can go around and you're trying to kill the other queen 3 times in the round. But you also have these little guys running around trying to plant berries and also trying to race a slug across the map. So it's just chaos. I honestly couldn't have described it better. And it was just chaos. So I played that for like 10 hours whenever I could.
Okay.
Which was really great. And then also one of our really smart engineer guys from TC Helicon came to the convention with us because he's just, oh man, such a brain. And I'm pretty sure we invented 3 new audio cables over the weekend. So that was pretty cool too. We literally had their main stage comes out and be like, we have these 2 things. We only have room for 1. And the guy's name's Kyler. He goes, oh yeah, I can make that. Just give me these 2 cables. He's like, yep, that'll work. And it's like, you can't find that cable on Amazon.
Right.
Nice.
It was pretty cool. Those were my highlights.
I've talked to him. I've talked to him before. He's a pretty smart guy.
Oh man, what a brain! What a beautiful brain. That could be like in the Smithsonian. It's beautiful.
I always enjoy the people with big brains, especially when they're on your raid team and they're doing the strats and stuff like that. Oh,
well, thanks, Pat.
So nice when somebody else can do it. Because I'd be like, just stay out of the puddles, guys. Come on, let's go.
Download GTFO, guys.
Right, exactly. Thorn, what's been happening in your world?
I am continuing my studies at Overwatch University and enjoying quite a lot of it. In fact, I brought some resources for everyone, so we can probably put
He brought his own homework. It's show and tell time with Thorn.
Yes, indeed. It just happened to be one of those weeks that was a little heavy on the things that I found around Reddit and on YouTube and things like that. So the few different things that we'll leave behind for you guys are a comprehensive list of healing in Overwatch, which just came out today. Somebody just made a bit of a graphic on exactly how much healing is done by every ability, the basics, the amped up versions, the ulted versions, all those sorts of things, just so you have a full list of everything all in one place.
It's interesting to look at, but I don't know how to use it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's just a good reference point. And the person who wrote it just said, look, I couldn't find this all in one place, so I just made it so it's all in one place.
Gotcha.
And I think he put up 2, 3, 4 iterations already because there people were helping him tweak numbers and all that. So it's good stuff. Sometimes it just helps when you are trying to figure out a situation and you might want more throughput or you want more AoE. I don't know. I feel like there are situations where you may want to compare one to another in a given situation, or be looking at something, a pick that you made in a given match, and thinking, was this AoE healer better than this other AoE healer in terms of the numbers I could have been putting out and the range that each of them has, all those sorts of things. Some of that stuff you kind of have a feel for, but this has the actual numbers.
I gotcha. I just if here's my healer pick, it's gonna be either Lucio or what's her name, Moira. Yeah.
Moira.
So either one of those, that's it, because I suck at the other ones. That's basically mine.
Fair enough.
I like Moira because she's always sitting on a pot of gold medals for me.
Sure. Right. Right.
It's an Irish thing.
Right.
Yeah. Nice.
What else do you have in your study pack? For those,
the other things I found were something called Basilisk's Overwatch Performance Tracker. So that's not new, but it's been updated for the current season. And so basically just a different user took something that Basilisk made before, and it's basically a big Google sheet that you can copy a version of, and then there's an inputs tab at the bottom where you literally just track one match to the next. You put in the stats that they tell you, and all of those stats feed through to the rest of the tabs throughout the sheet. Speaking of big brain stuff from before, I have no idea how all of that works because Excel is the kind of thing that I use very, very often, but not to its full extent by any means. So those are the sorts of things where I have great respect for people who can make this stuff. And I love when they make things like this, because this is actually helping you track your performance by the numbers. And I think that's super, super useful, and I plan to use it.
Cool. Thorn, did you ever heard of Visor?
I did that and Pursuit.
Yeah. So it was both of those were both very close to what this does.
Yeah. I had Pursuit.
It would track your screen.
Yeah.
It did some things even track alts and stuff like that, which Blizzard didn't like. So they ended up banning it.
Yeah. I was a Pursuit user.
Really good. And so I looked at the spreadsheet when you posted it, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then I'm like, I have to fill out 10 cells.
Yeah, fair.
It's only 10 cells.
I don't need to track my progress. I'm improving. Everybody else is just plateauing.
I would be like, I'm not even filling out one. Screw that.
Yeah, right.
I don't need to know.
Download the program.
I don't need to know.
Email me the results.
Where's my Warcraft logs of Overwatch? Let's do that. Let's just get that going.
Can you imagine if we could have add-ons? And
yes.
Oh, that'd be so great.
Hoping.
That would be so great, because then that way you could just have one of the characters just say "wow" every time he tries to jump or something. Wow.
Well, okay. That
what was that a crit add-on, right?
Yeah, that was a crit add-on.
Just tried that on her fire mage and immediately regretted it.
Wow. The new workshop in Overwatch is kind of like an add-on in a lot of ways. As long as you're playing games like Farabird or whatever.
Did you see that they were playing Uno?
I love that.
They were playing.
Yeah. There's some guy made up an Uno game in the workshop, and it's kind of cool. You're dealt cards. There you can tell exactly whose turn it is. You stand around a beam of light, and the beam of light will change color depending on what the color of the last card played was, and it will have the number in there. So then you can actually go around and play Uno with your friends. And the one that I saw was like 8 or 9 people, and it has reverse, it has skip, it has a +4 to your neighbor or whatever. And so I mean, it's just like all these different things, and it's like somebody actually figured it out. And
crazy.
And you're telling me that it took the Overwatch team 4 years to give us in-game replays?
And they're playing Uno, and it's the #1 workshop game.
What?
In NA.
Sold more copies than Hearthstone.
So I mean, it's crazy. It's like they did this whole list of all the biggest workshop modes, and that was #1 for
That's
NA.
great.
That just goes to tell you how far people will go to not play competitive Overwatch.
I guess.
Yeah.
Uno is
exactly.
pretty big in the memes right now.
No, man, I gotta play Uno.
Exactly.
You know.
You guys want to play Uno? Let's go into Overwatch.
Oh man.
2 other things that I found that people who are also students of the game may find value in. One is called q.gg. It's a website. You can upload your VODs there and have peers take a look at them. I think there's also a service that I just found this, so I don't actually know all the nuances, but it looks like you can do live replays. So you can create a room, bring friends in there, and have, I don't know if it's like an instant replay or if it's live gaming streamed just to that room, so that people can kind of watch with you and critique, etc. There's a community section specifically where you can go look at other people's VODs and give them pointers, etc. And then there's a place where you can organize teams on here as well. So it looks like a pretty good tool that I definitely plan on checking out. But the main crux of it is being able to upload VODs that people can critique.
Right, and that's q.gg. It's not the letter Q. It's QUEUE.gg.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Because if you just say Q, well, I'll make sure to put a link in the show notes. So if you guys are interested in that, you can go check out all of the different links that we're talking about right now. And you had one more, right?
One more.
Okay.
There's a
holy cow, Thorn.
top player named SVB, who's just started doing YouTube recently. He's really, really good at it. I recommend his entire channel. It's spectacular. He's doing a simplified series where he takes concepts like goats and explains the basics of all of it, so you can kind of understand from the ground up. His most recent one is how to comm in Overwatch, and comm as in COMM as in communication. So it's really a breakdown on what is useful communication and what are useful things to say in comms for your team, ways to abbreviate some of those things, and ways to call them out that they make sense to the team. And now, obviously, it doesn't solve the non-listening, but
so we're not supposed to just talk about our day and stuff. I'm always like, hey guys, I got to go to the store and get some milk, in a little bit, and and then I got to pick up my dog.
There's a lot of that.
I got to pick up my dog at the vet, and somebody killed Symmetra, and and then I gotta do something else.
Exactly.
Right. It's just all about your day.
Yeah.
Competitive Overwatch. In a nutshell. All right. Now I know that as far as it goes for me, I did spend some time in the classic beta, and nice. I gotta say I finally made it to the Barons, and for that I'm going to give myself some applause. But then I gotta cut it a little short because it's only the Barons.
I've got your bare end right here.
Right. So.
Did you make any jokes in general chat though?
No, I made it to the crossroads, and then I decided to log out because I wanted to save it for like a day where I knew I'd be like I could stream it, because I think that would be a little bit more fun for me.
There's a lot of time to talk during those long runs back and forth for sure.
Right. So I'm looking forward to doing that maybe sometime this week if I can, and
nice.
then I don't know. Just kind of did a little. Oh, what's
Which
that?
class?
Shaman.
How are you liking it?
There's like 3 classes that I can really see myself playing, and that's one of them. So yeah. I really like how I like how it feels, and I like all the little side quests that you do to get all your little totems and all that kind of stuff. So,
It's a quest for every totem.
right, pretty much.
And then you have to put them down individually, right?
I think so, yeah.
Like I feel like the putting them down all at once thing was way later.
Yeah, it came in Cataclysm, I think.
I think that was yeah.
Did you reserve the name Zug?
On the
Does it matter
beta?
in beta?
Yeah. Of course.
But like, did you reserve? Because like, there's a reserve thing, or is that not live yet?
No. I don't think that's live. Is there actually a reserve thing? I don't think that there is.
Yeah, there's like you can reserve like 3 names or something.
Wildly unfair.
Is that on the? But that's on the beta, right? I mean, that's not for.
I think it's for for when it goes live.
No.
Oh, for everyone.
Do they even have server names?
All right.
Do they even have server names out?
Reserve. Wow, classic.
I'll just pick a different server. It's fine. It's fine. All right, we have a lot to get to, and I do want to talk more kind of like classic strategy of like hey, are you going to play, and where are you going to play, and how are you going to play, and who are you going to play with, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll talk about that in a bit, but I do want to get to the news. And as always, we'll just start with current WoW.
A clever strategy.
Thank you. Now, for those guys that may not have seen it, and I don't know what we're calling it, because last week I called it WoW Prime, and then I put out a poll on Twitter to see what people were thinking, and I'm like, now that we have WoW Classic, what do we call current WoW? Do we call it World of Warcraft? Just call it World of Warcraft.
Oh, now WoW.
No. I don't.
WoW.
No, I'm not. I'm not
WoW
calling it now. WoW. I'm not doing it. Do we call it? What was the other one? I can't remember all the different ones. But people are retail, and I'm like, I hate retail. That just sounds.
Yeah,
That sounds like it's an industry name. Ugh. Right.
Why don't we just call it BFA, and then when the new one comes out, we call it whatever it is.
Right. And so
I
think
call it by the current expansion.
So I think that's what it's probably going to be.
That makes sense.
Because
Problem solved, and 4.3 seconds flat.
But I like calling it.
Poll not required.
I like calling it WoW Prime just because it sounds like Optimus Prime a little bit, and I don't know.
It's a really good. We've been doing like extra shows of Tactical Crouch whenever we can like find guests. So that you might find we do like 2 episodes or maybe even 3 a week, and we call it. So the Tuesday show we just called Tactical Crouch Prime.
Okay. Yeah.
That's great.
Right.
I like it. I like the word Prime. It's great.
It works. It works for me.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah,
they were like, I mean, this poll really actually caught on fire. There were like 1,100 votes or something like that.
That's a lot.
And
I was just searching for it. I just brought it up.
Over 10% of you guys said WoW Prime. So thank you very much for voting my way.
Drabbit says, how about corporate WoW?
And then there was please God, let's call it anything else other than those 3 things, and that actually got like 5% of the vote.
Yeah, really, anything else?
Cash cow WoW. I want cash cow WoW.
I like the addition of UG at the end of that.
Right.
Option.
Yeah. It's just like
9% though. 9%.
I give up. So we do have actually quite a bunch of things to talk about. First of all, a couple of weeks ago, the developers made a little bit of a change, or maybe it was just last week. I can't remember exactly how long ago it was, but they nerfed the raids a little bit for smaller groups, because some smaller groups were having some difficult times making all the different checks kind of along the way, especially if you only have like 12 guys, 10, 12 guys, whatever.
Or gals.
Yeah, right. Might just be not making those timers. So I think they just changed it up. That's what it looks like anyway, right? I think so.
Yeah, I mean that's ultimately what it looks like, is they just kind of fixed the scaling on a few abilities and things, because there were some smaller teams that it was a little bit more difficult.
I think I was telling Thorn this, but this week I was looking at different articles on different websites, and they were saying, no, they're nerfing Crucible completely, nerfing it. boom, into the ground, whatever. And the writers were not revealing that it was just specifically for smaller groups. So, and it wasn't Wowhead or MMO Champion or Icy Veins or anything like that. It was just these other sites that were trying to grab some eyeballs. And I'm like, guys, come on, tell the truth. Let's go.
It leads, Pat.
I don't like it though. But the real top story for this week is that Forbes did an article on patch 8.2 and did an interview with Ian Hazzikostas. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, good one.
I don't know that we necessarily learned a lot. If you guys have been tracking what 8.2 is and what all the things that are coming with it. I mean, I have this little card with all of the new stuff that is coming with Rise of Ashara on the screen right now.
I think if you remove the term currency, you cut that list in half. That's how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of different things that you have to pay for. And build up and all that kind of stuff, and we can talk about some of that stuff because I know that I've got it as an article by itself. The new BenTHICC gear.
Sounds dirty.
It does sound a little dirty, doesn't it? So BenTHICC gear is basically like a catch-up mechanic where you can for these mana pearls that you can now get in Nazjatar. This all sounds very foreign, doesn't it? You'll get used to it. But as you collect these mana pearls and you get, like from World Quest, you would get like 1 to 3 of these mana pearls, at least on the PTR you do. So it takes a little while to build them up. You can buy individual pieces of gear, and I think it starts at, what is it, 385?
385 and go up to 425?
Wow. And you can go up to 425. You can upgrade it to 425 gear, which seems ridiculous. It seems ridiculous that you can bump it up to 425 just with a few mana pearls. And I'm guessing that it's there's a lot of time that goes in with it. I mean, it's not going to be right away that you get in with this gear, with 425 gear. But I know that there's mixed reactions on the forums. No, there's not mixed reactions. Everybody hates it. It's the forums. Come on.
Where do you go? I don't go to the forums to say, I like that decision. If I like your decision, it means I'm playing the game.
Actually, there were some people that were like, oh, that's kind of a cool catch-up. But then there were other people that were really concerned, saying, if you can upgrade this to 425 without actually having to do group stuff, then it's kind of a problem. I don't know.
I see both sides, but I also like the idea that people can upgrade themselves to an eye level that groups are going to consider, right? Because that's always been a problem in the game, is people want to take others of a certain eye level, and that at least helps get them over that hump a little bit.
Right.
We've also, sorry, I don't want to cut up, but we've also kind of run into this with, my friend and I and Katie have all run brand new tunes, and we're kind of not using really any catch-up mechanics other than the ones that you run to as if this is your first character. And something that I've run into is to get into kind of any I say decent raid team, but I kind of mean a raid team that isn't just like, bring everybody in your ult, everybody can come. You don't
want a super casual type of environment. You want a structured.
We're looking for slightly above, hey, anybody can join.
Right.
I just need slightly above that is all I want.
Right.
And it's like item level 390. Which is, if you do your weeklies and you do some good chests and stuff, but it's actually not that easy because you only get a handful of, 390 plus gear from weeklies. My Azurite weekly or daily stuff are like 385 that go to 390. And so it's kind of difficult. So I like having this catch up mechanic. And I think 425 that's around like normal raid gear, if I remember correctly, for the next tier.
For the next tier, yeah. So because heroic gear is 430 for 8.2 for the Ashara stuff. So
so you run into that, and you also run into the fact that a lot of the perks, even Ian said in the interview, there's some like really like explorer-y perks and stuff, and it's more about like getting around in the zones and stuff that might not actually be super conducive to a raid environment outside of, hey, look at me, it's 425 item level.
Right.
So.
Right, and I do think that especially for those guys that need this gear and are going to be upgrading it and stuff like that, it will take at least a little bit of time. And by that time, most of the raiders now should be into the next raid, because this is not going to. It's only going to be a couple of weeks until that raid pops.
Like 3, right?
Yeah, like 2-3 weeks. And so I mean, really. They might be able to upgrade it once off of these daily quests, but it's not, and that would put it at level 400. Okay. So that's pretty much on par with heroic rating right now and mythic stuff and whatever, might be just slightly below it.
And those are BOA. So the currency themselves are BOA, I think. Is it the currency that's BOA or the gear?
I'm not sure which.
But ultimately, like I'm leveling a monk right now and I'm going to tank him. It's really nice to know that some of the progression that I can do on my Shadow Priest can help gear the tank up.
Right.
So then I can go into LFR completely blind and know nothing.
I actually checked it out on the PTR today, because I was like going, all right, well let's make sure to check this out and see what's going on. So I went to the vendor, saw that the gear was available and that it's at 385, and that was it. And then you see this guy walking around, one of the like the void storage, the ethereal guys, like a void storage guy. It's one of those guys. You talk to him and he goes, all right, here we go. You can upgrade your stuff. You want a little upgrade? And
only the first one's free.
He didn't say it creepy like that.
Where do they keep all their stuff though? Because they have no pockets.
I know. It's weird. They pull it out from the ether.
Hey, women haven't had pockets and clothes for years, and they still find a way to hold on to stuff way longer. And Katie is over here playing WoW right now, and she looked at me. She does this little finger gun thing. She goes, "You damn right." I don't know what that means. And I don't know how she heard that.
Right.
That was amazing. No matter what.
I have a feeling that's one of those things that could mean the opposite as well. So you better watch it.
It also might have been
damn right.
I haven't held a thing since 1946. Right. Finger gun. I don't know, but
it is the tokens that are bind to account.
Oh,
so
man.
yes, John,
okay. All right. Cool. So that's one of the things that's coming up with 8.2. Just kind of like this weird catch-up mechanic thing that I think that people are kind of misunderstanding. Go ahead.
Do you guys know what BenTHICC means?
No.
What does it mean?
No idea.
The Benthic zone is the ecological region at the lowest level of a body of water, such as an ocean, lake, or stream, and including the sediment surface and some subsurface layers.
It's actually pretty cool over there, and I don't know if you guys have seen the PTR or have been in the PTR at all, but it's pretty neat over there. Yeah. I just went over there today just to check it out. I mean, I'd seen pictures and stuff like that of it, but being in there and being in that environment is actually pretty cool. So.
I just thought that BenTHICC was just like kind of I don't know. It's just have we really run out of cool names for gear? Is that where we're at now?
I guess.
BenTHICC.
Oh, it's BenTHICC with 2 C's.
BenTHICC.
Yeah.
This podcast is BenTHICC. All right. Oh man, we've got
womp womp.
I gave you Nomademy last week, and this week Thorn is giving us.
You left me hanging on that. I tried to bring that back for you, and you just left me hanging like it was my idea.
I didn't leave you hanging. I wanted nothing to do with it.
Your own bad joke.
I have a reputation to uphold.
Yeah.
No, but so I know it seems weird.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about this. Every time they do a catch-up mechanic like this, it always seems weird at first. And it always ends up working out. And the thing that I think they have done a really good job of learning and being more consistent about is knowing, because it's not new that anybody who's maybe tryharding or trying to be top tier in rating or something like that is going to use every available avenue to get as many upgrades as possible as often as possible, right? So they always have to set that as like kind of the high end, the all-in player will do this much, this many weeks, and that has to be like the limit by which they then judge everybody else below that. And I feel like after all this time and all these expansions and all these mid expansions where they're doing things like a catch-up mechanic, I feel like they kind of have that down. Now, I'm not going to lie. Every single time this comes up, I feel the same way. I still feel like, oh, what is this thing now? And is this going to be good or bad? And now there's a dog.
And guys, if you're listening to the audio podcast, you should really check out the video podcast. If you want to see Choji's amazing.
Oh my God.
Such a
He's so cute and
what a unit.
How much does he weigh now?
He, I think, just crossed no joke. So he just crossed 100 pounds.
Nice.
And when I left for DreamHack, he weighed 95. So Katie clearly paid him or gave him a bunch of treats or something.
He upgraded, and now he's
I came home and I looked at him and I'm like, Choji, you put on some weight. And then I'm like, he's like, you too, Dad. Because I was like, I was at DreamHack and my company was paying for all my food.
Right. Of course.
Just like,
of course.
Yeah, boneless wings around for everybody.
Yep, that's right.
That's how you get BenTHICC.
Mm-hmm. That is how you get BenTHICC.
BenTHICCer, yeah, BenTHICcer zone.
So
BenTHICCer zone.
So other parts of this interview, just so you know, Ian talks a little bit about class adjustments, saying that there really aren't any for 8.2. There aren't big reworks or anything like that, but he does talk about Death Knights and some other issues that he wants to address, and other stuff. I don't know if there was really a bunch of revelatory material in this interview, but it's just kind of nice reading it as Ian Hazzikostas. If you know how he talks, read it as try to hear his voice in the writing.
You absolutely can.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's like if you know how he talks, you just insert that into your mind and you'll be fine. So, but it was just kind of cool about 8.2. So there. Other things for 8.2, we have new change for hunters, which I really like, especially for those guys that are playing Zondalari trolls now. Horadin and Undasta are both going to be tameable. They're both going to be tameable. Awesome. That's awesome. That's like the perfect cool. Zandalari hunter pet.
Yes.
Both of them at the same time. Yeah. I remember hating Horadin on heroic level. I mean, it was just insane.
Yeah, I remember having to pug too, and every week being a different fresh hell. Right.
And then a couple of expansions later, I went back in there and just one-shot him. I'm like,
just because.
God, this feels good. This feels good.
And now you're taming him.
Feels so good. And then you go into Firelands and you kill Rhyolith, and all those guys just one-shot him, and you're like, yes, this is happening. It's great.
I love the idea that you can be grinding out weeks on weeks on weeks for one boss 1 year, and then 3 years later be taming it as your pet.
Yeah.
Next up, progression. That's if people are like, I don't feel like I'm getting any stronger. Well, hold on.
Right. And from what I hear, Ragnaros is going to become an elemental for Shaman, so it's all good. No, he's not. He's not.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe in 8.3 that'll happen. That'd be great.
Do you guys remember Garelon from Heart of Fear?
Oh yeah,
Garelon. You had to fight underneath him and around his legs, stack his legs.
You don't go underneath him. You don't go underneath him. He'll squash you.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Did he do just like a big body slam when somebody went underneath? I can't remember.
Yeah, if somebody went underneath, and that was always like the troll move in LFR, was that somebody would go underneath and just hang out there and just get slammed a bunch of times.
John has no idea what you're doing.
I didn't know that.
So they actually had
50 kills, and I didn't even know that.
So they actually had to change the timer on it so that there was some sort of CD on it for the boss, so that not everybody was dying all the time. Because otherwise he would just kept on repeating that, and so I don't know. It was just a mess. That was
a raid killer for us. We got stuck there and never. No, to be fair, that was like my very first. It was the baby's first raid team, and they foolishly put inexperienced me in charge of it at the time.
Oh boy!
By default, mostly because nobody else wanted to do it. It was one of those.
Yep. Been there, friend.
BenTHICC. And another thing coming up in 8.2 are mounts, and I want to talk about this because there's a lot of them.
Are there new mounts?
Are there new mounts? There are new mounts. There are new mounts all over the place, and I don't know how to I don't know how to talk about this really, guys. I don't, because there are so many. I can't even begin to explain them all. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this many mounts? There's 30.
So there are a lot of new mounts. I just would like to say, I feel like you could cut the number of in half if you get rid of like different colors of the same model.
Sure, but they're called different things, and so it's a little bit different. But
I mean, they are. But like, at least for me, I know some people are like, I have the white dragon and I have the bronze dragon, and when I'm walking around in Coltiris, I see a dragon. Yeah. So I think that there definitely is the aspect of like, I can find, I want every different color under the sun of this thing, but there are like a lot of just different skins of the same mount. But yeah, I really, 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 really want the Mechagon Peacekeeper.
We were literally just talking about, oh, sorry. No, not that one.
Which one?
I think I'm talking about the right one. I'm not getting linked to the
Peacekeeper.
Make sure it's talking about the
one with the 4 legs and the
the aerial unit R21X.
That's the one we were just talking about last week. That we literally said on this show it would be pretty cool if that was a mount. And then there we go.
So I have Mimiron's head.
Right.
Fun fact: I got that on the first run of Ulduar.
That's where we talked about it last week because we were saying that this looks like it.
And we were
you weren't listening last week, I got that on the first run.
We were very angry with you, I think. As is neat. I mean, you need to hear this from people. They are going to be angry if you say that all the time. It's kind of like
try holding the woman the love of your life in your arms who got Ashes of Law on the third try. Okay, I'm allowed to get Mimiron's head. Okay.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
So So aerial unit R21X rolls right off the tongue.
Yep.
Really great.
It really does.
Jungkeep Drifter. Would have been Pat if he didn't discover podcasting.
Right.
It's pretty cool. I'm not a huge fan of Rusty Mechanicrawler. I don't know. It's not for me.
You know,
but it's like a 4. It reminds me of the big bad robot in Wild Wild West.
Oh yeah, the spider thing.
Yeah,
the spider thing. Oh
but
my
not
God.
in a cool way. And we've got a new version of the Jade
Hold on
Panther.
a sec. The Wild Wild West way was not in a cool way either. I don't really think that was just kind of like over the top silly.
Yeah.
So,
no.
By the way, Kevin Smith has a great story about that because he was supposed to put a giant mechanical spider in a different movie that he was writing. So
I will have to check that out.
I know Kevin Smith tells great stories.
I do have a new song. I do have a song idea for you though.
Yeah?
For the show. Wonder Wing is what you get for Battle of Azeroth Pathfinder Part 2, and I want you to do a mashup with Wonderwall.
Oh, that would be interesting.
You're my Wonder Wing. That's what I want.
All right. We can maybe try that. Wonder Wing actually looks pretty cool. It's a mechanical parrot, I guess, and it looks actually really neat. I like that one. That's gold and achievement. It's gold and silver and shiny and I don't know.
I have a feeling I'm really going to want that snapback scuttler, though, to run around.
So these are some of the achievement mounts that we're talking about, and I've talked about them before. The snapback scuttler, the Model W, and like all these really cool mounts. They involve a lot of work.
Seems like it.
Like a lot. Like I think with the snapback scuttler, you basically have to do everything in Nazjatar about 1,000 times. And then for the Model W, this is the wheel mount, right? That one you have to do all the different achievements for Mechagon. So you have to do all of the achievements for Mechagon. You have to do all the achievements for Nazjatar to get these 2 mounts. And they aren't the only 2 that... I mean, the snapback scuttler is the only one that looks like that. The Model W, there is a different version of it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice.
How do you guys feel about the Dragon Horse achievement or the mount?
Well, just before we move past the snapback scuttler.
Yeah. Sorry.
My favorite part about that is that you ride it sideways.
Absolutely.
I can't get over the fact that the thing.
Oh no, that's gonna drive me nuts. Pass.
You don't have to do all the work.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
Okay, so 29 new mounts.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which one were you talking about, John?
So all the seahorse, ones. So you've got like 3 different. Yeah.
Fabius.
Fabius. Oh, yeah. What up?
That's cool looking now.
Yeah, and they're just, I mean, it's kind of.
So they like float, or can you only use them in the water?
They're swimming mounts, so you can use them in the water.
They're swimming, so I can't use them above land.
I don't think so. It's kind of like the one that you got in what was the zone? Back in
Vashir, I think.
Yeah,
Vashir.
Yeah, back in Vashir, you got a seahorse for that one. It's basically the same. If you got there's a fishing mount that is actually better than that as far as for speed and stuff like that. But it's not bad. And there's a couple different ones. There are mounts for professions. There's a rep mount. There's 4 for Horde and 4 for Alliance that are just faction based. There's PvP. There's a couple there. There's Nazjatar's zone mounts. There's Mechagon zone mounts. There's quest mounts. There's drops and all sorts of different stuff. I mean, it's at least they're spread out.
The R21X, if you don't want to try to grind it out because it drops from King Mechagon.
Yeah.
In Operation Mechagon Dungeon, you can purchase the Rust Bolt Resistor, which looks to be a reskin of that one, and it's only 524,288 gold.
Yeah. So it's only half a mil.
How do you pronounce the one above that? The Zilliwag ATV? It's the blacksmithing and engineering mount. It's awesome. This thing is cool.
Yeah, no,
it looks like a hovercraft.
There are some really cool mounts. There are.
I like how it's just, if you look at the front on view, it's just like smiling at you.
Yeah.
Does this feel like too many though? I mean, and is this the right time to release this many mounts in an expansion? I feel like it might be the right time, at least, because people are kind of into their groove for the expansion. I mean, we've been at this now for a while, a good bit, 9 months, right? And it feels like everybody has found kind of their lane that they want to travel in, at least for this expansion, or for the most part. So it kind of feels like it's the right time.
So I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it for those who don't. Is this the last patch of BFA? Like major patch, 1.2 patch?
No, because we still have to, because with 8.2 we'll get the Shara's Palace raid, and then that will lead to the final raid of the expansion. That's the bet, right? Is that 8.3 will be the end of the expansion, most likely.
Right. So, but there's a good chance with this many mounts, this many bosses, and everything else, I have a feeling we're going to be sitting here for a while.
I have a feeling we're not going to see any more new zones. Right.
I would see that too. I could understand that. That makes sense. Because he did even kind of describe the new zones a little bit in the same way that we got what was it called?
Timeless Isles and what was the other one? That one. Timeless Isles was one of them.
Argus. Thank you.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So so it's there. There's a lot of content there, but it also feels to me like the expectation isn't for you to get all these things before the next patch drops, because it's pretty likely that we aren't seeing a patch of this size. This is this expansion's Argus. They just moved it from 0.3 to 0.2.
Yeah.
That's right. That's the way I understand it.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that's...
Where's the B mount though, guys?
Yeah, I know. I don't see the B mount. I don't see it.
Be patient.
I don't
How
see
about
it.
that?
I don't see the B mount. Hold on. I know where it should be. It should be, and it's not there. So I don't know. I'm expecting it as an Alliance mount. That's what I'm expecting. That's what I'm expecting it as.
All I'm gonna say is my Coltiran is the best looking new model in
that is a good new model
ever. My Coltiran is so. I have a monk named Jeffrey.
Yeah.
And he's awesome. He's my favorite. Like I love my Shadow Priest. I play it all the time, and it's like I'm literally out DPSing people 15, 20 item levels above me, and stuff. So no bragging, of course, but
yeah, humble brag.
If somebody else were speaking on my behalf, they would tell you I was doing more damage than people 15 to 20 item levels above me, and I love that, and I will always continue to do that. I love my Shadow Priest, but I'm like, I love Jeffrey, man. I just want to go play with Jeffrey. So
monks are fun, man. I'm telling you, they're a good time. I it's like when I got my my Dark Iron Dwarf monk, Doug. I leveled him up.
Names.
It's DHUG. It's a little different. It's spelled a little funny. But I mean, I went from 0 to 120, or I guess 20 to 120 in no time whatsoever. I think it was maybe a month that took me to level. And I was like,
Dang.
I couldn't stop playing him because it was just so fun. It was just, it was great. And then so I was doing DPS and healing. That was it. And I'm like, yep, I'm hooked. I'm good.
Were you fist weaving?
A little bit.
Is that even a thing anymore?
Yeah, it still kind of is. It still kind of is. It's a little bit more limited, though, I think.
Fair enough.
I mean, I'm not a monk expert by any means. You guys, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm brand new to it again after a couple expansions here.
But
I'm brew mastering.
It's super fun. I love it so much, and just getting out into especially like into the war fronts, and just going DPS and just flying across the fields.
Little helicopter thing,
yeah. And so I mean, it's just a good time. So I hope that you enjoy it, Thorn, as you explore the monk system, I guess.
Thorn, I don't think we're friends on BNet. We need to change that.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though you're on Horde, so I don't know. I don't really feel like using in BGs, but if I ever do, I'll hop on my Horde tune.
There you go. All right, sweet. So also on our little radar system for all things BFA and patch 8.2 and all that kind of stuff, there's a new add-on that was released recently, and it is so awesome for you guys that are musicians. The add-on is actually called Musician, so that's awesome, right?
Amazing.
But you can actually become a bard in World of Warcraft and play music just like randomly.
That is excellent.
It's awesome. And I think all you need, if you want to hear stuff, I think you need the app or the add-on as well. But it's within 40 yards of yourself, so you could hold a concert.
Getting that right away.
You could hold a concert, and I do a lot of music stuff in MIDI already. Nice. As long as I know how to transfer it over, and you get I think there's almost 20 instruments or something like that you could do. Everything from, your classical bard thingies like a lute or whatever.
Sure.
But you can also do a heavy metal guitar.
Nice.
So the instrumentation is okay. It's all MIDI based. So that's kind of cool. It doesn't seem like it's amazingly robust in how it reads MIDI, but it's a basic MIDI reader, and that's kind of cool to have in game.
That is pretty cool.
If you want to kind of have some fun in game.
Yeah.
It's weird. But the musician add-on is available for you guys. So.
I love it.
So can only people who have the add-on installed hear it?
I think so.
That has to be it, right?
I think that's the way that it goes. So if you plan on holding a concert, you just got to say, okay, make sure you download the musician app or the add-on.
Got it. And there's also so this is the other thing that was unclear, and I didn't get a chance to download it. The emotes with the lute and the drums and the harp, those are all toys right now in the game. They're not it's not changing that graphically.
Correct. I actually downloaded it, and there were 2 songs that were loaded up on the add-on, and I was kind of messing around with it a little bit. And at one point, it said someone else is listening to you right now which was kind of weird.
Oh.
I was like, okay, it tells you when somebody's listening to you, and it doesn't change anything about what you're doing or whatever. I mean, you can run around.
Okay.
Do
I
your
liked
normal
Africa,
stuff.
that they had
So-
Africa from Toto
Right.
playing in one of the things. I was like,
pretty cool.
I could see me doing that.
Dun, 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 bow.
I'm just glad that I can finally bring this part of Second Life into World of Warcraft.
But it's a little bit different too because it's a MIDI reader, so it's not like you're bringing in music
That's
directly.
right.
You're bringing in kind of like this weird muzak.
I'm bringing in a sexy sax man song.
Yes.
I'm
Careless
gonna be
Whisper.
bringing in bringing sexy back.
Nice.
That, because why not?
God, JP is just a treasure, isn't he?
Oh, totally.
Sure is.
Totally. All right, gang. We should talk a little bit about WoW Classic.
No.
The suffering commence.
Okay.
So,
I love that bumper.
well, there's two of them. There's that one, and then there's
Torment awaits.
either way. Or actually,
That's a good theme.
there's a third one that I have that might kind of work. It's kind of quirky though.
Defenseless weakling!
Remember that? Remember? That was pretty good. That's not bad, John.
What is that from?
That was pretty close.
Defenseless Weakling was from the twins back in was it Siege? No.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. What was the one with the what was the raid with the train? Because it was the same raid. It was just the one with the tracks that go back and forth, and then you have to.
Shanghai Noon.
No, not that one. Oh yeah, Hans and Franz. It was Hans and Franz.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah. All right,
Great fight,
let's talk a little bit about Classic. Today, they actually just before they had the cap set at level 30. That was as high as you could go. They really wanted to check out all the different systems up to 30, all the different dungeons, all the different whatevers. And now they have bumped it up to level 40. And so like I saw Asmongold was streaming earlier today, and he was like going, "World first Uldaman! Come on, let's go! World first! Let's do this thing!" So, yeah,
Did he get it?
probably. I mean, he probably had about 100 people in there. Who knows?
Sure. Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know how the grouping system works for all the different dungeons and stuff. So, that's kind of cool, and they're also spinning up Arathi Basin as well.
Uh-oh.
So a new battleground to check out on beta as well. I'm trying not to play myself out on beta. I want to check it out and then cool down and then just kind of maybe just monkey around with it a bit and not like go too heavy.
Are you planning on playing it more heavily once it's live?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, that makes perfect sense then, because I mean the classic is such a grind, kind of by nature.
Oh, yeah.
That I could totally see
John, are you going to be playing?
Classic WoW.
Yeah.
I have a level 31.
No, but I mean, are you going? Oh, he's 31 now. Nice. Are you gonna be playing when it goes live?
No.
You're not okay?
No, it's not.
Thorn,
So I mean, I don't know. Like, it depends on. For me, WoW is all about who I'm playing with.
Sure.
And if all my friends and all the King's horses and all the King's men decided that they wanted to go play WoW Classic again, I would have to set their houses on fire. But if they survive, then I'd probably play Classic WoW.
Sure.
But I have a lot of strong feelings about it.
We'll get to that in just a second. Thorn, are you planning on playing Classic at all?
I'm going to dip the toe.
All right.
I was not there for Classic at the time.
Yeah,
I
me
started
either.
in Wrath, so I figure it would be fun to try it out. And I didn't play any of the private servers from before, but I had friends that did, and
Cool.
They told me a lot of stories.
They were
when I did
banned.
that.
So
They're dead now.
So do you? I mean, John, you said before that if you were to play, you would be playing Priest probably, right?
Yeah, and I am.
Okay, and Priest is the more that I look at all of the different classes for Classic and watch videos and all that kind of stuff, it does seem like there are some ones that pop out more than others. Where it's like Priest is like ultimate healer, really good numbers, both PvP and PvE, really awesome. And the other one
sexy.
is like, yeah, sure. And like for
kind of class you want to take home and meet your mom.
And for tanking, there's nothing else other than a warrior. Really, that's the one that you're going to bring because it has a taunt.
You can choose a monk or a death knight. Oh wait!
Oh no! Thorn, if you had a choice on which class you would take into classic, what would it be? What do you think?
You know, I might go the OG.
OG
and pull a hunter.
Ooh, yeah.
Both because I have not really played hunter much at all, so I don't have anything. I'm not going to have any quality of life to compare it to from current WoW. Wait, what did we say we were calling it?
BFA.
Yes, I don't have any. I don't have a max level BFA hunter, so I'm not comparing it to anything. And I feel like
you can also call it Bifa or
Bifa
or Buffa. Oh,
Buffa. That's my favorite.
Buffa.
You gotta have the inflection. Buffa.
So Hunter, that's kind of cool. Yeah, for me, I'm like thinking, you know, I was thinking like Druid, but then I realized that at max level, you're basically the only thing you can do is flag carry for all of the different for WSG, right? Warsong.
Is it because they were stuck in being like any role but not that great at any role?
They were never that great. Like as a tank, you don't have a taunt, so you can't get. I mean, it's weird, right? You get more threat, but you don't necessarily get all the threat pointed at you. So you have to have a hunter back you up or something like that.
See, I was taught the game by people who played in the original vanilla classic, and so the fundamentals were taught to me before I even knew what they meant. Well, things like you let the tank pull and you give them time before you.
And in Wrath, there were still a lot of those things, especially for hunters, because I mained a hunter for ICC and
Zug.
Yeah, and so I mean, you still had all of the different threat mechanics as a hunter, which is actually really cool. I'm actually thinking about either hunter or shaman for when Classic goes live, which means that I'm going to have to play Horde because shaman is awesome. So it feels really only? Yeah, that's only Horde side, and Paladin is only Alliance.
Weird.
So you know you have to make choices, and this is one of those things. And if shaman is really kind of is pulling me that way, then I think I got to play Horde. But
that's pretty cool though that you're feeling the old school shaman.
Yeah, and so now I'm like going, okay, well then what kind of server would I play in? Would I play on PvP or PvE? And I'm like, well, if I'm doing Horde, I might as well play PvP.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean,
wow.
And we're thinking about
WoW hierarchy that it was founded upon.
I know.
How is this like this small, meek little hunter named Zug on a PvE server?
I know. Actually, RP server. For crying out loud.
Nice.
That explains so much.
Nice.
Oh, okay, I get it.
So yeah, I mean, and it's like we're currently discussing how we want to do this for the CTR guild, right? Because I know that a lot of people have a lot of interest on classic servers, and we're actually talking about possibly trying to serve more people in classic and probably doing a more terrible job at it than in BFA or BFA, as you will.
Well, I have a relevant YouTube channel to plug if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead.
It is a friend of mine, but I do promise that it is very quality content. His name is Platinum Wow.
Yeah.
His YouTube channel, you just search for Platinum Wow. But he has an entire playlist on there called Vanilla Flavors. So if you're considering classic, there is literally a single rundown of every individual class.
And I watch those and it's really good.
They're really good. Yeah. He spends like we don't hang out with him anymore because he's only editing these days. But you know, if you haven't made up your mind or if you want to know kind of where each class lies, if you happen to be a rogue through and through to the core, but you didn't play in classic and you want to know what it's going to play like there and what the limitations are and what some of the buffs are, that sort of thing, this is the series to watch.
Right. And I would agree. I mean, I think that's definitely one of them that stuck out to me. I know that there's a bunch more that I've watched also that are all pretty good and all kind of describe what the pluses and minuses are for each class. So
which is great because to revert back to that time, there's so many things to take into account that I don't know. I'm the kind of player that I need that outline for me.
Well, and especially for endgame, because when you're starting a character, you don't necessarily think about that. But considering how long it takes to level, you have to have a good idea, I think, of how you like to play the game. And for me, out of those 9 classes, 6 of them I don't like. I just don't connect with them at all. And it's like I connect with 3 of them, and 2 of them are okay at endgame. Really, is what it comes down to. So, in classic, I should say.
Yeah, and so it's a matter of, do you want to play the thing that you love the most overall, or do you want to play the thing that's actually going to be competitive in endgame? Because those were the days where you would be outright left out because they just don't perform enough, right? I mean, there's entire classes that just are not viable, really, in endgame.
Dravit said that Bear Druids have taunt in vanilla. I think that came in a later patch, not in 1.12. which is where we're starting at. So that's what I'm basing it off of. I'm not sure if they got it later than that, but I do know that they have a thing that allows them to get more, More threat. Yeah.
Is this on the not a bug list?
Might be. I'm not sure. So there's that. Yeah. And speaking of not a bugs, I mean, they're still coming out with more not a bug stuff. So nope. Hit is fine. Hit, parry, all that kind of stuff. That's fine. It's all just like it was before. That was the latest.
I feel like that would be a good name for a podcast or YouTube channel or something. The not a bug podcast.
Not a bug. Not a bug cast. Right. Let's see. I think we should probably move on. We're going a little long today. On the WoW.
We're not going to talk about the thing that makes me mad.
Oh no, we can talk about that. Okay, so there was an article because I do want to make you mad. I always enjoy making you mad. There was an article that says why Classic is better than BFA. This was from denofgeek.com. And in it describes a bunch of differences between BFA or BFA and Classic, and things like, and I'll just read the headlines of this stuff, just so people get a feel for it. The big sections of it were loot upgrades feel exciting again. Every battle requires focus if you want to live. Okay. The harder difficulty forces players to work together, which I think is a crock because it's not actually that. It's other stuff. The world feels large and epic. No, it does. Because here's my example. When I went over to the Barrens, I had one quest back in Razor Hill that I needed to turn in, right? And I'm like going, I'm going to turn it in because it's going to allow some experience. And plus, I'm just kind of playing around. Who cares? So I went to Crossroads. I walked all the way basically from... No, wait, hold on a sec. I was in Orgrimmar. I had the flight point. Oh, shit. I can't remember how it actually worked out. But it was one of those things where it was between Orgrimmar and Crossroads and Razor Hill. And I swear to God, it took me like an hour to go between those 3 points. And I was like, this is just forever of just walking.
God, auto run.
Yeah, but like, do we want to go? Do we want to do this now, or do we want to go back?
And there's no flight points in Durotar whatsoever. There are no flight points.
Really?
There are
Durotar.
There are none. So you won't find any at Razor Hill. There's no flight point there. There's no flight point in Senjin Village. Like now. There are no flight points whatsoever. So you have to run everywhere. There's a flight point between Crossroads and Orgrimmar. That's what I've discovered so far. Everywhere else is a dead zone. So you're done. So go, Thorn. What was your question?
Yeah, you better go first.
Do you think that was an early developer mechanic? To have limited flight points and mostly running, like so that you couldn't progress too fast, because they were still expanding the levels at this point, right?
I think it was supposed to be arduous, right? I mean, I think it was supposed to be hard.
Yeah, because all the precursors, the EverQuest and the like, were all supreme grind fests as I understand it. I didn't think those.
EverQuest is probably a better example of a really hard grind, and WoW was like, oh my god, this is so much better.
Okay.
But I don't think it was necessarily better. It was just different. So, and now that we're going back, now you go, this is hard again. This is not just zippy.
At least it's not original vanilla classic where you had to like, you could only play for a certain amount of time and then you had to rest in an inn.
Oh,
and, like,
right.
regain your energy.
Well, if you're playing Hunter, man, you got to feed your pets and you have to train them and you have to do all this other stuff. So
still have to collect your
carry a quill.
Oh, yeah, you have to get everything going. So
Did I
crazy.
say Hunter? I meant
if you say Warlock, then you just got to be ready for having a bag full of soul shards.
oh my god, soul shards.
Yeah.
No.
John. So, what's your beef with this article? Let's just.
Man, I have so much beef. And again, this is somebody.
Where's the beef?
Who's like, I'm at level 31 right now, and 40 just opened up. So it lets you know, like, as soon as they opened up 40, I started kind of grinding again because I didn't want to be the guy like at level 3 and be like, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. I do. I'm a level 3. No. So I've tried my best to be pretty cutting edge in that. I'm gonna refute this one by one.
All right. Okay, go ahead.
So it's relatively easy to get decked out in epic gear. Epic gear means nothing. And to be fair, that's actually probably their best point of the whole article is that purple, just because it's purple gear doesn't mean it's actually more powerful. And I would love to see a return to like, yeah, you know what, in dungeons and questing and honestly, even some of LFR or whatever, if you want it to be blue and green or whatever, that's great. But using purple or epic as the barometer for
best in slot
decked
stuff,
out, stuff is not the case.
No.
Best in slot is still really difficult to deck out for multiple classes. I know of like the 4 that I'm playing right now at top level for sure. I know where all the best in slot is. And there are best in slots for each and every one of them. And just because it's like a higher item level or higher rarity, in Classic, that means, it probably is your best in slot. But that doesn't actually change if you're actually doing the most damage you can with your gear, right? So I don't like that at all. I do agree with Titan forging. I don't like Titan forging. I'm
not a big fan of that. I think it just kind of extends it out, kind of ridiculously.
It just makes me have to run a lot of older content more often to hopefully get, like, I'm running this at a +10. I hope it Titan forges.
Right.
Like that just sucks.
Right.
So I don't like that aspect of it, but at the same time, it's not that different than WoW Classics, like running a 40-man raid and getting 2 pieces of epic gear to drop. So like,
oh man,
I don't know. If anything, this is it's more WoW Classician than ever.
I think what this article specifically is talking about, when you're talking about loot upgrades, especially in the dungeon system, or when you're out questing or whatever, it does feel different because, especially at low levels, you have nothing. You got a bunch of gray and white item loot, stuff. So it's like every +5 that you can get, every little bit of additional.
You want to go through that though every time a new expansion comes out?
No, I'm not talking about new expansions or anything. I'm just talking Classic, man. But it's
if you were a brand new account and you were leveling from level 1, are you telling me that this world doesn't feel big and incredible and you feel
BFA?
like you have nothing?
BFA?
In BFA. So Katie, imagine that I didn't just pay $60 out of my own hard-earned money, by the way, not hers, by the way, when she makes way more money than I do.
Sure.
My hard-earned money. I can't say the word money right now. My hard-earned money to have her go to 110. You're telling me if I, have her go to level 1.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that none of these things exist.
So what I will say is, I think that this article is not a comparison of the brand new player to World of Warcraft, right? This is definitely a look back from a player who has played in current WoW and is looking back on Classic and is now playing Classic.
Yeah, but I'm a current player playing Classic and bullshit.
Well, no, I disagree.
I know you do.
I disagree with you.
That's
because
fine.
I think that, especially like the world does feel big because it's slower. It's a much slower pace. Everything is
That
a much
doesn't feel
slower
bigger.
pace.
The world doesn't feel bigger. It feels slower and more clunky.
Right. And in that way, it feels bigger because it takes longer to get everywhere. Yeah.
No, does the world feel bigger because you put 10-pound weights on your ankles? No.
Sure.
You just feel like it's harder to go anywhere or do anything you want to do. Doesn't make the world any bigger to me. I can still see those mountains over. It's just going to take me way longer to get there.
Right. And along the way, you're going to find all these creatures that when you pick a fight with them, they're gonna fight back, and they're gonna fight back hard. So it's kind of one of those things of, it's not only gonna take you physically longer to get there, but you're gonna come into more roadblocks along the way, and that slows you down even more. I don't know why, but even when I was just kind of walking from place to place, I was like noticing how big it actually was, and that's not saying that it isn't now. It's just that I was just noticing it more and more. So,
isn't that the same reason that they didn't allow flying outright for all new expansions right away?
Yeah.
Like tell this guy to just not use his mount. Look at how big the world is now, guy. Wow.
But you don't feel that way, John, in in a new expansion? Like how do you feel about not being able to fly in a new expansion?
And again, I think it makes sense to me. It adds a level of, honestly, it adds a barrier to like what I would prefer to be doing. Like, dude, I killed Deathwing. Just let me fly, okay? Like, there's a part of that for me there, and you don't have that. Like, World of Warcraft Classic is very much like it's like Pokemon, right? You start out in little Pallet Town, and you're like, hey, what Pokemon can you give me? Okay, I need to go fight a bunch of Weedles. So that I can go kill this first thing. And like, I understand that.
Sure.
That part actually isn't fun for me at all.
Right.
That part isn't.
And the other part of the thing is, for every new expansion, what they've done better and better every expansion is they've been able to service the flying side of it, right? Because they have more flight points. They have more flight points in a zone as you're going through it, especially more than you found in Classic WoW, because in Classic WoW you only had like 3 in a zone, and you had to go there or you had to put your Hearthstone at one of those places, and then you use your Hearthstone, and then you have another hour until you can use it again. Ugh. So I mean, they just make it really they make it really hard, and it's like trudging through the mud. And so
point number 2.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Point number 2, the scarcity and difficulty of acquiring loot makes the classic gearing experience engaging and exciting from the first level. I'm not going to say the first word that I put in because I've used the bleep twice.
Right.
But know that there would be a bleep here with the word that I'm saying. Don't get me wrong, I think gear is probably too easy to acquire right now at the top level. Like, I log in on a daily, and basically, if you don't get to 380, 385 just from doing your dailies, like, just based on the emissary quests, you're playing the game wrong, and that's whatever. But I don't actually think you're playing the game wrong. I'm just saying that it's not difficult to acquire. But of course, raiders who love classic raiding and the loot mechanics therein are going to prefer getting this scarce loot. But remember when LFR came out in 4.3, Pat?
Yep.
Do you remember the stat that they threw around everywhere?
What was the stat?
Like 3% of people actually saw the end of a raid.
Oh yeah, I mean when they had the original Nax in Classic or in Vanilla, like only less than 1% of people actually went in to that one. And so like that's, oh man, what a waste of amazing experiences.
Right. And of course, those 3% of people who did that and love that are going to continue to love it. Apparently, like the writer of this article here, but I'm just like, I don't know, that's such a red herring to me in so many different ways.
Don't get me wrong, this article is not amazingly accurate, right? I mean, this is an opinion piece of how he feels about what kind of nostalgia classic brings back for somebody that's been playing WoW for a while, right? And I agree with the general sentiment, and I guess I agree with kind of the generality of his opinion, and I say yes, that's valid. I don't necessarily say yes, you're right, because I don't think that there is a right in this situation.
Number 3. Every battle requires focus if you want to live. That sounds exhausting.
It is exhausting.
And to be fair, right? Some people prefer the journey, not the destination. I'm more of a destination guy.
You really
are. The end game where the game starts.
Yeah.
And so if they want to start that earlier, that's great. But I've never once said, this is so fun, it's hard to level.
But it is. It's harder to level. It's much harder to level because you're given fewer tools.
Slower. I don't feel like it's harder. It's just slower.
Well, and I don't know about you, but I've died several times because you have different mobs on different pathing routes and stuff like that. So it's, it comes through and you end up dying a bunch of times.
I never enjoyed dying and never will. This guy said he had a smile on his face when some kobolds killed him.
Again.
And I'm like, good for you, guy.
Take handle.
It's, again, I don't understand why you're getting angry at him.
I'm not actually angry.
It just plays better. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, is it more fun to be like, well, according to my calculation, this is how I personally feel about it. Like that's not that fun.
Yeah. No, I mean it's fine. And some people will actually enjoy that part of it, and I kind of do as well.
That's one of the first ones that I like. I realized that's just not me. But there are definitely people who are just like, you know what? Hey, look, I'm taking a candle and lighting my foot on fire.
And I think that for a lot of people, Classic was more about the leveling experience than it was about the end game for them. If you played vanilla, it was more about the leveling experience because it just took so long. It was just
they
one of
remember
those
it
things.
Taking so long, but we even saw last week when we were talking about people were like, "Don't the mobs hit way easier?"
You're right,
like, no, you were just bad back then.
I think people will be surprised when they get into Classic, if you're not in already, at how fast you can actually go. Because I remember doing much, but then again, I was a bad player back then. I didn't understand the world, and I didn't understand.
Come on, Pat.
I didn't understand the mechanics. It took roughly 10 years of playing before I actually got okay at it.
Yeah.
So
when I first started, I thought you had to balance all the stats.
Raid team is 50-50 on that still, Pat.
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand their point of view. I'm 50.
Yeah, you're right. Balancing the stats. What stats are good? I get it.
All those things that you learn from other players that are not immediately apparent and aren't part of the training or the manuals or anything like that.
Yeah,
I get it. There's something fun about discovering that if you're.
And I don't know. And the cool things for me about Classic are that you will need to work together with other people in order to get your professions done and all that kind of stuff and you'll need to. John, and even if it's just to sell them a portal to a place because you're playing a mage and you need
also because money is hard to come by, so you need
some bucks. So there's all of that stuff.
Number 4.
And you'll need them for dungeons and stuff like that too.
The harder difficulty forces players to work together.
I think that's misleading.
I agree.
Yeah.
But here's a few things, right? And so you just discussed it. Right now we're in like a renaissance age in classic WoW. A lot of people are playing of it.
It's the honeymoon stage. Honeymoon.
Yeah. Honeymoon stage is way better than Renaissance.
Right.
But I've been playing Civ 6 lately. So Renaissance it is. So yeah, it's this idea that everybody is super upbeat to be playing Classic. And there's so much nostalgia going on. And nobody, there's no rush because at the end of the day, we can only go to 30 and we can only do so much when we're at 30.
Yeah.
Basically, you get to 30 and then you just get plateaued by everything.
Then you just do your professions until they're maxed out.
Yeah, maybe.
Farming, bro.
Yeah,
right.
farming.
So,
gotta get those silvers.
So when you have a bunch of people who aren't max level needing to do things, and it's really easy to go, hey, I need help with this mob, and be like, better than rolling a shaman. Okay, there's this kind of like quick, I'd love to help you, dude. I played in Classic. There's a reason why I never hit 60 in Classic, and it was because it was toward the end of Classic, toward BC, where I couldn't find people to complete these things because, everyone had 2, 3, 4 characters that were already level 60. They weren't going to level it again. They didn't really care. They weren't doing part of that. Well, and the whole idea of that thing of like, hey, you can do it as a group now is predicated on the fact that people are actively doing it as well or in a really good mood. And moods come and go.
Or you're in an awesome guild full of friendly folks.
Yeah, not everybody can start a podcast to do that, Pat.
No, everybody can. It's pretty easy. I can tell you if you guys are interested in starting up.
If it was easy, Pat, you wouldn't have published a book on it. Okay?
It was so easy, so easy. It's a quick start.
I edited that book. It was not easy. Let me tell you.
It's a quick start guide. It's fine. No, I do think that there will be a honeymoon period for when it goes live, and I think that you'll find that maybe 10-20% really are hardcore into it, and the rest of us are just going to be kind of playing around. We'll see what ends up happening once live hits. I am interested in especially endgame when it comes to Classic WoW to see how that works and how that comes about, because I kind of worry about that end of it. Yeah. Just because I don't know what the response is going to be. But if you liked vanilla and you're interested in Classic, I would encourage that you play.
Can I one more? Can I point number 5 this?
All right, one more and then that's it. That's it.
All right.
This is the last one.
Point number 5 is Classic WoW is the real BFA. Come fight me in war mode. I'll make you flip that switch fast.
That's 3. That's all you get in a show. That's all the beeps you get in a show.
That's it. That's my last one.
All right.
I do have a friend who so there's this group of friends who were of the original group of friends who got me into WoW to begin with.
Yeah.
And my friend's brother in this group has told me so many war stories about Classic PvP and like getting that one item, like grinding forever to get himself that one item that gives him just 1% more crit, and that just made all the difference, and nobody could touch him, and like the magic behind his eyes when he talks about this, it's beyond nostalgia. It's just like it's like the dude who was a star quarterback in high school and just missed that one throw that would have taken him to state, and all the possibilities that could have come as a result, kind of thing.
And then Bruce Springsteen's Glory Days starts playing in the background. And everybody goes nuts. That's it.
But he's stayed away from the game since roughly Pandaria.
Yeah.
And that's a real obvious breaking point for a lot of people who were these min-maxer, math-oriented, super detailed talent tree lovers. And so that aspect of things is a huge draw, and he is all in on coming back.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Was that ever though like what WoW was kind of like designed? Like, I'm glad he found WoW and he found some like enjoyment in that. But for me, and again, I probably really came into it End of Wrath, early Kata, where I'm like, okay, I understand this game really well. WoW was the casual MMO to the actual real mathematicians MMO in so many ways. And it was like, hey, we made it easier. Like, if you die, you don't lose XP. Right.
Or all your items.
Right.
Or your items or whatever else. Yeah. Like there's definitely an aspect of that too, I think that's where the article, like, honestly, I've been playing Classic and I've been enjoying it. I think part of it is because everybody else is enjoying it. And I think eventually that goes away. And I would make a bet on that. If they're like, John, in a year, you have $50, says people like are really enjoying it and it's this really positive experience, or it's kind of come into the own thing. And if you don't have somebody in your guild or a friend or something else, it's just as lonely as BFA. I would put it on the latter. And
I would think that that's the danger of it. Yeah. I do think that there's a real danger that it could be not as well received once it gets going. And
like, what does it look like, right? Like, what does it look like 6 months after launch? Like, are people so, rose-colored, or they're like, oh man, we have to do this raid again, and only 2 pieces are going to drop, and
I really do
go to our worst hunter.
I do think it's gonna be kind of like, how do they do the server splits and stuff like that? I mean, how many servers are they going to have for Classic, and what does that look like, and how many do they think that they'll be able to max out on before having to add more or whatever? Because I do think that that's going to be one of those things that will determine how the end game plays out. And I'm sure that they're thinking about this as they. And
there's a really good conversation going on in Twitch chat right now about like convenience versus like community and progression and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of where it comes from, right? Is like, where do you draw the line from? Anybody can play World of Warcraft. Like my wife, she's playing there right now. She doesn't need me. Hi, how are you? You look great. She doesn't need me to go through and guide her through all these systems anymore, because we've kind of gotten to that point. And where is it to where like World of Warcraft is a community thing? And right now, if I'm not logged in with Katie and she doesn't have a friend with her, how does she progress in the game? And it's a really good point, and I understand why there's people on both sides of it. Mm-hmm. And if you had an amazing community in Classic, I can understand why you would fight tooth and nail to protect that and be like, I want that back. My best friends I got from Molten Core, and we did all this cool stuff. And I had a cool guild too in Cataclysm. And man, what I wouldn't give to get Cataclysm back. And in 7 or 8 years, I'm sure I'll have Cataclysm back. And like, I get that. And I'm not saying I don't want to take that away from you, but I also don't want to say like, hey, BFA now isn't good. If you haven't played WoW before, go play Classic. It's way better. I don't believe that.
I think it's going to be a to your own taste type of a thing. So, it's just one of those things where if you are, especially if you really got into the game in Cataclysm or later, I don't know how you're going to receive Classic. I just don't. I think it's going to be a tough. I think it's going to be a tough road. All right, we are going to move on because we're running really late now. You thought we were running late before. We're running really late now. So I think I'm gonna just play the end music probably. And we'll talk about some of this stuff because Hearthstone, the Thunder King, is coming to Hearthstone in the Masters bundle, which is $20. Check it out on the I mean, it's like card packs and you get a new hero, which is the Thunder King, as a shaman, which is great. I love that raid. That raid was awesome. So there's that. Let's see, eSports. This weekend, what do we got? We got MDI with our very own Thyst is going to be this weekend. Make sure to stay up really late. She's in Sydney with the gang over doing the MDI Spring Finals. There was and for this, I'm going to turn down the music a little bit. For this, they've announced that there's unlimited character swaps after each dungeon. There's Siege of Borealis is being added to the pool of dungeons and a bunch more stuff. So there's that. Owl Stage 3 begins, right? Overwatch League Stage 3 begins this weekend. And Hearthstone Grandmasters Tour continues. And that has to be it, right?
Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
Borealis.
Yeah.
Borealis.
Yeah.
Not Borealis.
Oh, sorry.
It's not a constellation.
All right, I'm sorry.
Borealis.
I'm sorry. I said the wrong thing.
All right. That's the only thing I had to say.
I messed that up. Sorry, I'm trying to speak quickly.
We have a friend who mispronounced every single thing you could ever give him. Guess how he says Magni?
How?
Mangini.
Oh, geez.
So he's like, let's go see Mangini. We're like, who the heck is Mangini? Yeah. Because the guy with the Heart of Azeroth thing. Magni?
I know a guy. I know a guy who, instead of saying we're on the cusp of greatness, he said we're on the cuspid of greatness. I'm like,
oh no,
like the tooth?
Nope.
Like the tooth? Is that it?
That's not it.
That's not it. I don't think that's it. All right. So, guys, do you have anything going on this week that you want people to know about that's really groovy, awesome stuff? Thorn, how about you? Anything?
I do, but I don't know when it's happening. I'm going to be on the Game Bite show with Harold and the guys, so
cool.
I'm excited about that.
Tell them hi.
But we'll do. That is going. Oh, you know what? It is going to be live on Twitch for the recording. So that'll be 9 p.m. GMT on Saturday, and I think that's it.
Okay, John. Anything?
Tactical Crouch tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Pacific time. So you will probably be missing it by the time that this gets posted. But if you're listening live, twitch.tv/kicktripod. Other than that, always up to shenanigans on my stream, which I just said, or on my Twitter. Right. But not a whole lot going on. Honestly, Katie was gone for like 10 days or whatever. Then I was gone for like 6 or 7. And so we're just kind of hanging.
Time
now.
to just hang out for a little bit.
Yeah, it's time to just hang out and do that married thing. Have you guys seen Good Omens yet on Amazon Prime?
So good.
I'm like 5 episodes in. It's very good. I'm not gonna like spoil anything, but it's charming, isn't it, Pat? It's like a charming little show.
It's Armageddon. That's what it is.
What about you, Pat?
I am going to be on Azeroth Roundtable on Thursday night, so that'll be fun.
They're the best. That's one of my goals.
And then on Friday, I'm actually gonna jump on Countdown to Classic with Josh, and talk a little bit about Classic WoW over there.
Nice.
So that'll be fun.
With Josh who?
What is his last name? It begins with an H, right? I can't remember. I can't remember.
Which show was it?
Countdown to Classic.
Countdown to Classic.
Countdown to Classic. Oh,
Countdown to Classic.
Snap.
So
nice. Okay.
I totally.
I don't know Josh's last name. But now I know what Josh you're talking about.
I totally brain farted his last name. Sorry about that, Josh.
Me too.
Sorry, Corbett. Thank you very much, Presley.
Corbett.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Josh Corbett. Very cool guy. So that'll be that's this week, and then Tuesday we'll be back here doing some more stuff on CTR. So let's get out of that and we'll play this. And of course, you can always follow Convert to Raid on Twitter at Convert to Raid, Thornbrow on Twitter, Kick Tripod on Twitter for Johnny, Pat Krane for me. That's Krane with a K. All that type of good stuff. Pat. So there's that. And you can always catch everything from us over on converttoraid.com if you don't catch it on other platforms, whatever those may be. That's where we have everything: audios, videos, guild stuff, and the CTR podcast network. And yeah, that's everything. You can find it all over at converttoraid.com. Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight again. It was lovely. Lively, spirited discussion about WoW and classic WoW with you guys.
Number 6!
Number 6! Number 7! And Twitch chat, thank you guys as well. And for everybody listening, thank you guys so much for taking us around with you during your day or night. Maybe it's nighttime when you're playing.
Hopefully nighttime.
Right. And maybe you're just laying into bed right now and you're like going, oh man, that was such a great show. I'm so tired now. It's time to go to sleep. Well, good night, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sleep good night.
Whoa!